You're listening to an Infatuasian podcast side dish, and I'm Curtis, and on today's episode, kind of a surprise episode, we'll be doing a casual end-of-the-year chat about our K-drama viewing in 2021. Three, two, one. Happy New Year! All right. Well, that's kind of fake. It's on the West Coast here. It's only December 30th. Now Nadira is a little closer. You're about 14 hours away from New Year's. But yeah, Happy New Year's, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Surprise! This is an episode that we just talked about very casually about doing. And I thought I'd squeeze one last episode into 2021. And who better to do it with than our day one host? It's Nadira. Welcome back, Nadira.
Hello. Thank you for having me back.
You are already on New Year's Eve. So how does it feel to be one day closer to being done with 2021?
It feels like I'm not ready to write the dates correctly for the next 2 months.
That happens, yeah. And we were going to have Jennifer. You know, we're going to have Jennifer and Nadira competing for the most times hosting, but Nadira has a commanding lead now because Jennifer got sick. I hope Jennifer's well. We'll see. Hopefully she doesn't have the COVID, but she's got a sore throat and drippy nose. So she canceled on us. So we had to call in off the bench our reserve teammate. We called in Amy from South Carolina. Welcome, Amy.
Thanks, Curtis. Hi, Curtis and Nadira. I'm really happy to be here. Happy end of 2021.
Yeah, we met because we all three of us listened to K-Drama My Eyes Out, and you've heard Judy on our show before. And so we just kind of have chatted on watch parties. They have watch parties over there where we watch dramas together, so we know each other by name. And now we know each other by face. At least we've never met. All three of us have never met each other, but at least we know each other by face. So thanks for filling in, Amy. I'm sure you'll do us proud with your K-drama picks today.
I hope so. Thanks.
All right. So what are we going to do today? What should we do, guys? We're going to just talk about, let's start with just life. What are you guys up to? Nadira, what's new for you? You're still on break, right? Your work's kind of taking a break?
Yeah, I'm just taking a break. This year has been really hectic with uni and some changes at work with software. And, you know, if you've had experience testing software, it's not fun. Anything new? Not really. I feel like my life's been on hold the last 2 years. You know, I think everyone's feeling that.
Yeah. And is Australia opening up a little bit? Are they relaxing some of their?
I know that borders are opening up. There is some testing in place that you need to do, but each state is so different, and it's definitely affecting the political climate over here. But we're not open for tourists yet, though, so that's a bit unfortunate. But at least permanent residents and citizens can come back.
Yeah, we're kind of locking down again a little bit. I've heard some universities are going back online instead of in person when we start up in January. So we'll see. How about you, Amy? What are you up to? You have a good holiday season?
Well, I have. I have been working. It's the time of year where most everybody takes time off. I am not taking time off, and the reason for that is I did take a lot of time off around Thanksgiving holiday. And I got to take 2 trips, which were very fun for me. I got to go to France with some friends, like kind of in this window, like this open COVID window. I think everything maybe has slammed shut. And then Curtis, I think you're aware, I also went out to California and saw BTS in Los Angeles. So
did you? Oh, so many people wanted tickets.
Oh, it was so hard. That's a podcast in itself, Curtis, is the ticket experience for that thing. But it was awesome. But consequently, it took up a lot of my vacation time. So I've been working over the holiday.
Sounds worth it.
Man, you've got the Korean fever, man. You're on the wave. You're riding the Hallyu wave.
Well, BTS is a rabbit hole of its own, and there's content. You could like go in a cave and not emerge for a very long time.
Now, how many days did you go? You went more than one day?
I went for 2 of the days. Yeah, the last 2 days of the show. So I don't know if you happen to see any of the images. Um, the the third day, one of the BTS members was in a Squid Game costume at the end, which was kind of
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
And then the fourth day, Coldplay showed up at the very
Wow.
end, which was
Oh.
also very. I mean, it
That
was it
that's
was amazing. I have to say.
that's amazing. Yeah. No, I saw some images from that show, and people. Like you flew across the country, but there were people flying in from all over, just
There
dying.
were,
Because it's been 2 years, right, since
yeah.
they've done a live show. So wow, those guys are. They are riding the world right now. They are. It's just their world, and we're living in it, I
That's
think.
right.
I hear that 3 of them got COVID recently.
They did.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
No more meet and greets for them.
No.
No. A pun
Oh
return
wow.
from the US. So, oops. Yeah. So sorry.
Yep. 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 It's just hard to stay isolated, when you're doing that kind of a
Mhm.
show. So we'll see. I mean, 2022's got to be better, right? We said that last year too.
We did, didn't we?
Oh man. Well, at least we can still stay home and watch dramas, regardless of what's happening in the
That's
world. We still
right.
have some dramas to
Yay.
watch. And so, what do you think of 2021 K drama wise?
I think it wasn't as bad as 2020.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Although that's a pretty low benchmark, though, I think. But there has been
Yeah,
some decent ones out there. Like Squid Game came out. I
yeah.
don't think it's a fantastic one, but I think it's one that I can see being a gateway drama for many people who haven't been watching
It was an
K-dramas before.
important one. Yeah.
Yeah. DP, I think, is a
Mm-hmm.
huge one. I think a lot of people who watch Squid Game should also try DP, because what I like about DP was it knew the story it wanted to tell, which is I
Uh,
think a struggle that a lot of K-dramas do, is sometimes you can feel them flaunting, like trying to hook their audience, and they struggle with it. But DP just went out there and knew what I wanted to do. So that's actually, I think, the star of the year for me.
hey man, hey, hold
Oh,
off a little
sorry.
bit. Don't we're
I'm
not
so
we're not in the
excited about
analysis.
DP.
We're not in analysis section yet, man. No, yeah, no. There were definitely some high points. I mean, there were some things that kind of showed that the K drama world is evolving, and Netflix is a huge player now. Disney Plus is becoming a player in K dramas. They have a bunch on tap too, so that's kind of exciting. I would say I think I agree with you. 2020 was kind of a wasteland, and the 2021 came back a little stronger. But if you go back and compare like top dramas from 2016 or 2017, 2018, it's like, man, those dramas were almost iconic now. Versus, besides Squid Game, will any of these dramas be iconic? Like things that we look back on and say, oh man, that was a top drama ever. I don't know. What do you think, Amy? How was the year for you?
Well, so I've only been in K drama fandom maybe about 2.5 years. So I don't have a decade or more to refer to. But I felt like it was more good than bad. There was plenty that I enjoyed that I watched. That we got a couple that were real bummers. But on the whole, I enjoyed a lot of what I saw.
Yeah, so I have a little chart. I don't know if you have that open. And when you look at the whole chart, you realize, man, there were quite a few dramas this year. Um, and then you also realize, I think I started more than I finished. I definitely started maybe twice as many as I actually finished, which says something. Which says something. So, I guess I got some categories for us to kind of work our way through. You want to start with the good, or you want to start with the bad? What do you want to start with? Here, Amy, you're the newcomer here, so you get to decide. You get to decide.
Why don't we start with the bad?
All right, let's start with the bad. I kind of agree with that. All right, was there a drama that was a huge disappointment, or something that you couldn't even get 2 or 3 more episodes in? What was the one that for you just kind of stunk so bad you had to quit it right away?
That is a difficult question for me, Curtis. You know that, because just because it's bad doesn't mean I'm going to stop.
That's true.
I
You could have
agree.
no, you could have finished it. That's fine. But let's start with you, Nadira. What was your stinker of the year? Maybe you finished it,
I,
but
I finished both, which I thought was really bleep. Um, Doom at Your Service was horrible,
okay.
and Sisyphus, which I know you watched some
Oh
of,
man,
Those are, yeah, the
Yeah.
bummers, the bummer of the
All
year.
right. What was so bad about Doom at your service?
I think because it just has Park Boyoung, who is, I think, is
We like her
amazing.
so much, right?
Exactly, she's so cute, and it had, I mean, I know we're sick of the paranormal, supernatural being, but if it's done right, it can still be above average. And it seemed like they had no plan in the script whatsoever. They were just carrying the Pak Boyong and the So Inguk name. So that was disappointing. And it looks like they had a decent budget, but the execution and the direction, and I wrote this to another podcast about how there is a scene where the second lead was talking like on the side of the street, and it was snowing, and then as the camera pans out, the snow was only around them, it wasn't snowing anywhere else, and you're like, surely someone caught this. But no, it just, things like that just made it horrible. And then don't get me even to the plot line.
Yeah. Amy, did you watch that at all?
I did not. I actually had it on my to watch list because I had seen it on somebody's list of best, but I'm going to rethink that.
Well, the thing with drama is you should probably see it, right? You should probably judge for yourself, because sometimes that happens where someone will say this is the best of the year, and you watch it and it's just so terrible. But I haven't watched it either. But I do like Park Bo Young. But yeah, I haven't heard anything good about it. But yeah, I'm gonna jump on your bandwagon too, Nadir, and say Sisyphus was a disappointment because we like the actors, right? We like, well,
I love Chosumo.
we you like Justin
Yeah.
and I like what's her name? I'm blanking
Park
out now.
Shin-hye.
Park Shin Hye, yeah, I like her, but she's not very good, I guess. I don't know. That, and then it wasn't really their fault necessarily. It's just the plot was just so nonsensical.
I think if they brought a lesser actor, it would have worked out in its horribleness. But because they
Maybe.
bought like the big guns, it fell
Yeah,
flat.
high expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it just some of the plot lines. How could they possibly get away? There's like 40 guys chasing them, and they all have guns, and they're shooting, and they just can't hit anything. It just doesn't make sense. You can't repair an airplane with duct tape. You just, mid-flight, you can't do stuff like that. So, anyway, Sisyphus, come on, man. It had potential. It had a lot of kind of Terminator 2 kind of vibe to it. I like time travel. I like nonsense like that. I don't mind time travel and stuff, stuff like that. But it's got to at least make sense when 50 guys are pointing guns at you. You can't just slide out the back door. I don't know.
What about him creating an app in like 15 seconds?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, he's a genius, I guess. But Amy, did you watch Sisyphus? Or you did the watch party with us, right?
This is 3 sad votes for Sisyphus, and it's a shame because I had such high expectations. I love the male lead because I enjoyed Stranger 1 and 2
Right.
so much, and just it was such a letdown. It was so implausible. I agree with you, Curtis. I don't think it was the actor's fault. It wasn't good material.
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
All right, says. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if it's my turn, but I had one more because I think biggest disappointment, that was certainly Sisyphus.
Yeah.
But I saw this was one thing that was truly just a gigantic waste of time, and I haven't heard it mentioned much, but it's called The Road Tragedy of One. Did you guys hear about it?
I haven't even heard of it.
So the reason I watched it was because it starred the guy who's the dad on Move to Heaven, who is Ji Jin-hee, I think is his name. And it had a lot of really good actors in it. And it was based on a novel, I think, by a Japanese author. It sounded so good. And it was just bad script, bad acting, bad, set design, you name it. So, and I watched every single episode, to your point, Nadira. All 16.
Yeah. Oh man, that's tough. That's tough when you're committed, right? You get about 8 episodes in, and this is a train wreck, but you're like, well, maybe they'll turn it around, and it just never does. I haven't even heard it. Nindira, have you heard of that?
No, I haven't. I'm looking at the poster now, and the poster looks good, and it's a TVN one. And yeah, so that's
Terrible.
sounds bad.
Absolutely awful.
All right. Well, I don't think I will watch it.
Oh, and it only has 12 episodes, which is unusual for a TVN drama. Sounds like they cut it short.
Maybe they cut it
They
short.
might have it. That was mercy. Yeah.
Yeah, mercy killing for the audience and the actors.
I
There's
think it did have low ratings now that I think about it, because I was watching
uh,
it when it was airing, in South Korea at the time. So.
all right. Let's move on to a next category. This may be kind of in the same boat. It may be a bad one or maybe a good one. But this is one, and I have a lot of these on the list of dramas that you started, but you fell off for some reason, and you may go back, you may not go back, or something just came up, another drama came up. But is there a drama that you haven't finished that you started in 2021 and you fell off for some reason? And Amy, why don't you go first this time?
Sure. The one that falls into that category for me is Inspector Coup on Netflix. I watched the first 2 episodes and I did really like it, and I like kind of procedurals or murder mysteries, that kind of thing. And I think life just got noisy or something, but I do want to go back to that one.
Yeah, I have it on my list. Nadira, have you watched that one?
I finished it. I have mixed feelings about it.
We should give a disclaimer. Have we given a disclaimer yet? We may inadvertently spoil something.
I'll try not to.
We're not trying to, but if you hear a drama, if we mention a drama that you're planning on watching or you're in the middle of watching, you might want to just mute it for a few seconds. But
Yeah, we might have already spoiled Sisyphus. If anybody would be interested in watching it after what we've all said.
well, we didn't give away any. Well, yeah, I don't think we ruined it. I don't think it's our fault if the person doesn't like it. So sorry out
Right.
there if anyone was dying to watch Sisyphus and really wasn't sure if they would get shot if 50 people were chasing them. The answer is they get away. Um, but yeah, so one that I started that I really liked, but for some reason I stopped was Mr. Queen. I watched a few episodes of it, and I like the cast, and it's well done. And there's some really funny scenes. And if you guys know the plot of this one?
Vaguely.
There's a modern day chef, and he gets transported. I don't remember how, but somehow he gets transported back to the Joseon era into the body of the woman who's going to become queen. And they use historical names, so they actually used real historical people. But it's funny because he's such a goofball, and he's in the body of a woman, and there's all this scandal. Like, how did she fell into a lake, I guess, and almost died, and then so she suddenly came back alive, and he's in her body now. And but it's funny because he's a chef, so he starts to invent things. Like he invents ramen, because he knows that they never had ramen before, so he makes all this food that they've never had before. It's just kind of, there's some fun stuff, and it's the woman from 30 but 17, or she was also in that ballet one, the
I think Shin Hae-sun.
Angel's Last Mission. And so she's good. My wife and I really like her. So she's really good, and she's acting like a guy, like a guy's possessed her body. So it's just some fun physical comedy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I just kind of fell off. But now that I think about it, I want to go back and watch it because it's pretty good.
How many eps did you get in?
I think I only got about 2, maybe 3. So not very far. And then, yeah, sometimes life gets busy, or yeah, something comes up. How about you, Nadir? Anything you've fallen off that you want to go back, or maybe not, never again?
Are we talking about 2021 strictly?
I don't know. Are there rules? You do whatever you want, Nadir. You're like a day one host.
Well, I started Beyond Evil, and I actually stopped in the first 10 minutes because I wanted something that is fast-paced and
Lighter.
light. And then you have this 10 minutes of one guy being stuck between the tall grasses and one guy running around and finding a dead body in the first 10 minutes. And you're like, nah, I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
And I will pick it up when I have this mind space for it.
Yeah.
But I did go back and try some older ones. I tried Misang as you recommended, but it took me, I had flashbacks of working in an Asian cosmopolitan city, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing this again. So I stopped in about ep 6, I think. I might go back to it later when I'm happier. And I tried extracurricular because you told me that's the same maker as my name. But
I
that's,
told you
I
that?
think you told me that. Or was it Jennifer that told me that?
Maybe Jennifer. Yeah.
But that's also heavy. And I'm like, where are all my fun ones? And I just ended up watching like really cheesy ones just to replace the ones that I dropped because they're too heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked extracurricular, but again, that was in a different time and a different space. Um, I got the recommendation from Jennifer, recommended Miss Yang, and I got about 12 episodes in, and then I looked up and I realized it's 20 episodes. Because I was like, oh, I could push through 4 more episodes. But then I looked up like, oh, I don't know if I can push through 8 more episodes. So I kind of stopped. I like it, but it is super. It's a slow burn.
Did it give you the same feels as my Mister?
It wasn't as. I didn't think it was as. It's not as dark, but it's also not as heartwarming either. It was kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've never worked in a cubicle before,
Oh
so I
God,
don't. I don't know.
don't.
But
Oh, what you're missing.
so I don't know. So I don't know if I would totally recommend. I think I would recommend extracurricular over Miss Yang. But all right. Anything else we want to talk about on the falling off of one?
Yeah, what about you, Amy? Did you talk about anything that you dropped before?
I did. I mentioned Inspector
Oh,
Co, but I
that's
had
right.
one other, maybe just to mention, because it's Apple TV's trying to get into the game, and they've got one right now called Dr. Brain, and it's got the guy from Parasite. I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but as well as Mr. Curtis, the star of My
Yeah,
Mister.
yeah, the voice, that guy.
Yes, and it's only 6 episodes. I'm through three, and it's fine. It's I don't know. I feel like that it's been done. It's kind of this memory transfer thing, trying to solve a mystery, and it's just I don't know. It's missing something, which kind of surprises me, being an Apple,
Huh.
Apple trying to get out there in it.
Yeah. Huh, I didn't know they're getting into the K drama game too. Wow.
So would you continue what you think?
Well, it's a 6 episode run, and I'm three in, so I can probably give it 3 more hours. Like I said, I feel
I've
like
heard the name of it,
there's
but
something going to be there.
I gotta hook up my Apple TV. My sister gave me an Apple TV. All right. Well, let's move on then. Okay, so I think we're gonna get into some better news. Well, actually, not necessarily. I kind of wanted to talk about maybe some actors or actresses. Do you feel like there were any surprises in 2021? Any actors or actresses or shows that you thought were kind of wow, this is someone new, someone to keep an eye on? Or I also wanted to talk about who had a good year and who had a bad year. We can take this in any number of directions. What do you guys think?
Oh, there's so many choices there, Curtis.
Yeah, it feels like a mixed bag for me.
Who do you think had the best year?
Jung Hae, the guy from
Yeah, I
DP
was
had
gonna
a good,
say.
yeah, because I knew that he's a
Oh yeah.
decent actor, but seeing him in DP kind of brought another dimension to him. Previously, he
He's
did
good.
something in the rain, and then
Yeah.
he was in Goblin for a bit.
Goblin for a minute.
Yeah, and he was also in that movie with Kim Golan, Tune In for Love, and a bit more of a softer character play. And then suddenly he did DP, and you're like, whoa, he could do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in Prison Playbook, and he's also in Snowdrop. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's coming up.
Yeah, I haven't seen Snowdrop at all, but yeah, I think he's had a good year. He's a good actor too. He's really
Mhm.
good. I was gonna say EJ Hoon
he,
had a good year.
no comment.
Moved to Heaven, and
Oh
Taxi
yeah,
Driver. I think those are both pretty
I'd agree
solid.
with that, Curtis. I thought he was. I'm a fan of his, so I enjoy both of those very much.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, he's from Signal.
Yep.
And let's not forget about our girl Han So Hee.
Yes.
She had. I mean, you didn't like Nevertheless, but a lot of people did like Nevertheless.
It is a different pacing, and my issue wasn't with the drama. I think it was more of the chemistry within the two main leads, where they try to keep pushing them together, and you're like, you just look like you're horny for each other, and that's it. You don't look like you want to be with each other. It seemed like the pull is toxic, and I didn't enjoy it.
but she showed some range, man. To do those two
Yeah.
different, totally different films. I mean, dramas. Yeah, amazing.
We got Lee Jung Jae from Squid Game,
Oh,
who
yeah,
is all over everything, like media blitz wise here at least.
yeah. I mean, he was a big star before in
Mhm.
Korea, but yeah, he really. And it's so weird to see him in other roles now because you see him in that Squid Game role. It's this deadbeat joker of a dad, and then a survivor. But then you see him in other dramas, and he's like a serious gangster, or he plays a lot of different characters. So he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I have not seen him in really anything else but my Netflix feed. I see his picture on all of these things, like of course now I'm not chief of staff or something,
Yeah,
like all these
yeah,
other dramas. So I definitely need to check those out.
yeah.
You know who else had a good year?
Who?
Song Kang.
Oh, who's song?
He was
Wait.
in Neverlara, and he was in Nevertheless,
Oh,
and he was in Sweet Home last year. He's just been like Netflix's
yeah, yeah,
boy.
yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah, no, that's a good year. If you throw in the end of Sweet Home was at end of last year, I think. What's kind of interesting is they've been saying that some of these big stars kind of had some duds. We had Gianna Jun with Jiri-san. Is
Oh, don't get me
not.
started. That almost made my disappointment
Oh,
list.
Yeah, and she's so good, right? Ranted, raved about her before,
Did you guys
but
watch Jirisan? It was so bad.
no, because I've heard so many bad things about it, but at least it balances out with
yeah,
Ashin of the North.
yeah, yeah. Jennifer loves her, but she couldn't watch Jirisan either, I think. And then also Song Hye Kyo in Now We Are Breaking Up had kind of a not a good run on that one. What's that face for, Nadir?
I have a cheat for new coming dramas if I want to watch it or not. Sometimes I wait 2 or 3 episodes and then I go to Tumblr and see what gift sets are made. And if the gift sets are good, I know it's going to be good. And none of them are enjoyable. They both look so bored with each other. And so I visit Reddit and everyone's saying the same thing. And I'm like, oh my God, what a loss of potential, that one.
Yeah, she hasn't had a good one for a while, right? When was the last good drama? She's an Encounter, which is kind of meh.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think she's a bad actress. I've seen her. I've seen her in Full House, and I think she could do something different there. In Dots, she was. I wasn't. I wouldn't say she was great, but I think she was giving more range there. But it kind
Hmm.
of feels like she almost stopped trying.
I don't know. Yeah, so I've heard people saying they're never gonna watch her again. Like
I know.
they're kind of given up on her.
Uh,
Anyone else we want to mention? Let me look at the list again.
So I don't know if this is right for a family podcast, but for someone that had a bad year, Kim Sun Ho from Hometown Cha Cha Cha, did you guys follow the drama there?
yeah.
Yeah, ups and downs, right? He a little bit redeemed though,
He
Nadir. You were
was, yeah, I
saying.
think at the end, but I don't know, Nadir, do you know more?
Well, the last I heard was Dispatch Korea actually did a proper expose. And we know, up from what I understand, Dispatch is pretty much like TMZ. They don't give you good news, they just give you bad news.
Uh-huh.
And my understanding is they actually proved ways of how Kim Son Ho was actually there for his girlfriend during the difficult time. Just like these small proof of, oh, well, he knew how to make this cooking in the variety show because he said he made this for his girlfriend when she was sick. And they just did like this, that Sunny in Philadelphia meme. It pretty much
Right.
felt like that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but I think in the end, he was redeemed for that. And if anything, it seems like his fans loved him more because he pretty much was ready to take on the blame that his ex girlfriend posted online. And I'm pretty sure
Mm,
it's his ex girlfriend that's copying the blame when it's unfortunate because it felt like it's such a private matter and it just
Yeah,
yeah.
it
bled
was very
everywhere.
delicate.
Yeah.
And it's so rough. It's like the public opinion is so hard to sway. It's just once people say this, there's some people who don't hear the other part of it and they're like, oh, isn't that guy the guy who did this?
Yeah. They were so focused on who's right and wrong instead of just, their feelings and their rights.
Didn't Soya G get dropped from a drama too? Like the It's Okay Not to Be Okay woman? I thought she was in one and then she got dropped because all this bad stuff came out
Yeah,
about
that she was a
her. Like
bully.
she's a control. Yeah, she's a
Oh.
bully, and she controls her
Yeah, apparently
boyfriends, and
abused him or something.
yeah, all these high school classmates are coming out and saying she was
Yeah,
terrible.
it was a big year for like bullying and abuse scandals. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, let's end on a high note. Let's talk about our favorite dramas. And now, Nadira, we can do a little breakdown. We can do a little expose on any dramas you want to talk about. Yeah, go ahead first, Nadira.
I have two that actually made my year, and they're both very different. One of them is DP, of course. I said about how, they really knew what they were doing, and being a political student, I was really interested in that side, in terms of the critique of how the government has the system of conscription and how they don't really look after the people that's supposed to serve the country. Um, but it was just so raw, and I would recommend the listeners here to also listen to K-drama My Eyes Out episode on that, because I think they covered it really well from someone with Korean heritage and who knows personally people who have experienced the Korean conscription. I just want to say it's a great drama, and Jung Hae-in and that guy, the second guy who was an amazing gem, Kyu Hwan. I think his name is quite difficult. I think that's his name. He was amazing. He had such comedic timing. He made the show much lighter and enjoyable. It wasn't all like
Yeah,
doom and gloom with him around.
a little bit
A
lighter.
little bit lighter, yeah. And on the other side of the coin, I have Run On. I know that Curtis didn't
Oh
like Run On.
no, I didn't hate
Yeah.
it. It just didn't do that
Yeah,
much
it
for
was a character.
Nadira, what is Run On?
Run On is a Netflix one. It has Shin Se-kyung, who was previously on Rookie Historian. She was in Black Knight, and she was in something else I can't remember. Bride of the Water God. And the guy is Im Si-won. He was in Strangers from Hell
Miss Cyan.
and Misang.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think what it didn't work for Curtis was because it was a character-driven drama. So there wasn't actually a lot of plot happening. And I heard a lot of critique about this, and I'm like, all the critiques are right. Nothing is happening, but for some reason, I'm just enjoying it. It's one of those like highly saturated color, and it was just so well polished, which I normally don't like. But there was something that I noticed, which is low stakes drama becoming more and more popular because you just don't want to get stressed out over watching murders and corruption, that you just want something light.
Aliens and
all the conflicts in Run On, I noticed, is off screen. Like a divorce happened on screen. There was some beating up on screen, but for the most part, it happened, off screen. So all the things that you get are the fluffy, happy side. And they also weren't shy enough to include an asexual character. There was an asexual character in there, which I haven't seen anywhere else in a Korean drama. They've done LGBTQ touch lightly here and there with Itaewon Class and some other dramas, but having an asexual character, I think, made it for me where it just becomes something easy to watch.
and they're not bad looking people either.
That always helps.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm gonna put that back on my list, Nadir. I'll give it another couple episodes. Yeah, I'm not opposed to character-driven stuff. I do like a plot, though.
Yeah.
I do like something to happen. But yeah, at this point, right now, there's not a whole lot out there. I might go back to that.
Yeah, there
one.
isn't conflict. There isn't much conflict.
Amy, have you watched DP or Run On?
Well, I just written down Run On because it sounds like something I would really like. I did watch DP, and I liked it. I will tell you it. I mean, it was troubling. For the themes were troubling. So it wasn't a a pick me up. But I agree with you, Nadira. That KDMEO episode about that show, I really got a lot from that as well. And I was glad that I watched it. I mean, I thought it was very well done, and I agree with you on the actors and the second lead. I just saw him in the movie Escape from Mogadishu the other day, and he's excellent in that. I just really feel like his star is on the rise as well as the lead.
Yeah, what do you guys think of the short format that Netflix is messing with? 6 to 8 to 10
Love it.
episodes?
Love it.
More, please.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, you can. I think I knocked out DP in 4 or 5 days, maybe 4 days. It's really
I
doable.
don't think I would feel the way I do about it if it was 16 episodes. It would be too
Yeah,
heavy.
there's no need to drag some of these. I mean, maybe I'm jumping the gum here a little bit, but Silent Sea was probably could have been done in 3 episodes. There wasn't a whole lot going on in Silent Sea,
Yeah, I
but
agree
it
with
was good. I mean, I liked it, but it's like they just seemed to didn't have that much plot or story or dialogue. Even they just kind of stretched it out. But yeah, I like the short format, and I wouldn't mind other dramas. TVN, we're talking to you. Maybe shorten things up a little bit. But that's the thing that Netflix has that broadcasts. They don't need to sell advertisement versus, the KBS, the SBS. They have to fill out weeks and weeks of
that. Hmm.
advertising and product placement, and they need to sell as many commercials as they can. Versus Netflix, they spent their 20 million on it, and 6 episodes is fine. They just need to get eyeballs on it.
So have you two both finished The Silent Sea?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I did, yeah.
What did you think of the ending?
Yeah, I
Well,
you go first, Amy.
well, I'll tell you, this was another one I was really looking forward to because I love Pei Tuna and Gong Yu.
Yeah.
And so I think I agree with you, Curtis. It's like there wasn't a whole lot there, and maybe it could have been shorter. I love anything that creates a world, though, and
Sure.
so I really I like that aspect. And but, I think on the whole I enjoyed it. It's not my best of, but what about you guys?
Yeah. And before we talk about the ending, spoiler alert, everyone out there, we'll talk about it. But yeah, it was fine. It was a very serviceable drama. The acting was great. The sets looked amazing. Like they
Mhm.
spent a ton of money on that. You can tell. Yeah, but I think it could have been a 2-hour movie. I mean, it could have
Yeah.
been shortened up, tightened up, and have it a little faster pace. I mean, it was suspenseful, but they had a 2-minute walk down a corridor, which could have been a 10-second walk down the corridor. And the ending, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard differing opinions. You think he's alive? You think he's not alive? What do you guys think?
Oh, I don't know. I want him to be because I want to see more of him. But are we going to get a season two? I only want to see him
I
alive
don't
if
know.
there's a season two because it's otherwise there's no point.
Yeah, they left it. They left that. I mean, the light flickered. That might have been a
Did
symbol.
you
But why
I thought he
why
was
have him
dead.
out there at all? Yeah. I mean, it looks like he's dead. I mean, if they do a season 2 and then the light flickers back on, then it'd be like, oh, I guess he wasn't. I mean, he could be alive. They left that open, but he looked pretty dead to me. But stranger things have happened. I mean, his suit wasn't ruptured, right? And he wasn't bleeding out of his eyes, but he looked pretty dead. What do you think of the ending, Nadir?
the ending? I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I'll take it. My issue
Yeah.
was a bit more like when they first arrived on the moon and they were walking, they had that slight anti-gravity look happening, and then at the end they
Yeah.
didn't, and you're like, did the gravity just go away? I mean, yeah, did it just
Yeah.
like come
Yeah.
back and just got the Earth's gravity? Um, and it also gave me a little bit of alien feels
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
of Newt
Yeah.
and the little girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a completely original. I mean, the whole water thing, that was kind of new.
I think,
But
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
yeah, I think they could have made more impact with the human cloning though, because they only discussed it in like 10-minute window.
Mhm.
yeah, and clearly she's got some amazing abilities. I mean, she can walk on the moon with no suit and
Yeah.
no air, and she has gills. She has healing powers. I mean, she is pretty crazy.
Curtis, aren't you a
So,
science teacher? Were you kind of bristling at that?
sometimes you got to just turn off the brain and just go with it. But yeah, the science, like she has gills and yet she can live on the moon with no oxygen. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of clever. But yeah, not my top three. Let's see. Amy, you want to do your top 2 or 3? What do you think?
Sure, sure. Well, Yeah, I guess the two I want to call out we haven't talked about yet. One is Hometown Cha Cha Cha.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you, this was one I resisted for a long time because for some reason that like the image that Netflix used in their, in, you know, whatever their promo, I was completely resistant. I was like, that looks stupid. I do not want to watch this thing. I was completely taken in. I love these heartwarming type things. You know, I could have done without the, you know, we met as kids and we're destined, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
thing.
over that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
been done, yeah.
So I wanted to mention that one, and then the other one that was really a favorite, and I judge a favorite on like, am I really like rushing to the television because I really want to see that next
Yeah.
episode?
Yeah, yeah.
And for me, that was Racket Boys. It is
Huh.
just a heartwarming. Have either of you seen it?
I haven't,
No,
but I've heard good things.
same.
Well, I love shows that are multi generational, and this one it
Yeah.
was focused on this you know, underdog badminton team in the, apparently it's like at the farthest point, you know, outside of Jeju Island or something in Korea.
Uh-huh.
This like town that's like on the, you know, the end of the Korean peninsula or something, in the middle of nowhere. So it was this, you know, underdog team, and then their parents were the coaches, and then there was also some, you know, neighbors and, you know, people kind of grandmother type figures, and it just always made me feel good, and it made me laugh, and you know, had some good cameos in it from famous other folks that I've seen in other dramas. And so I think if you're just looking for something light to lift your spirits, Racket Boys is one I would definitely recommend.
Do you remember how many episodes there are?
I think it is 16.
Okay.
Is it Netflix or is that on Viki
It's
or
on Netflix.
okay.
At least that's where I saw it. Yeah.
All right. I think Jennifer probably would have picked Hometown Cha 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 as well. I know. I mean, she did it on our little draft thing. She picked that as her first pick, so she was really on board with that. I've only watched 4 or 5 episodes, and I think I'll finish it. I guess I have a long list of things to watch now. That's good. That's what this show is for, right? To give people some ideas, things they might have missed. So yeah, definitely gonna add Racket Boys and Hometown Cha Cha Cha. I'm gonna add Move to Heaven on my list.
Yes. I loved that.
It was just really well done. Again, it's not a it's sad. You know, the first 2 episodes you might cry. It's sad to start with, and there's sadness throughout, but there's also some uplift, and there's definitely some a little bit of resolution at the end, and a little bit of like, okay, I think we'll be okay because we have each other. And I thought the acting was really good. There was the kid from Crash Landing on You as well as EJ Hoon. Yeah, so I thought that the acting was really solid. And I mean, EJ Hoon in a mullet. Come on, Adira.
Sold. I'm totally sold.
And Curtis, just to mention, the kid in Move to Heaven is the same kid in Racket Boys, and
Oh,
he's
okay.
got an incredible range because this character in Racket Boys is, you know, 180 degrees
Oh, wow.
different.
Okay. Yeah. No, he seems like he has a lot of talent.
Uh, Jennifer messaged.
Oh, she messaged
Yeah.
us? What did she say?
Oh my God, it's between Hometown CCC and Squid Game. I'm leaning a little more towards Squid Game because I binged the whole thing in 2 days.
Yeah. We have to mention it, right? If you're going to talk about 2021, it's super well done, super well acted. They had a plot. They had a plot. They had acting. They had set design. And I think it's going to be one of those. I think that might be the one of all the dramas from 2021, 10 years from now that we'll still be talking about. I'm not sure we'll talk about Hometown Cha 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 10 years from now. But I think we'll still be talking about Squid Game. It was an international phenomenon. It was, it owned Halloween. I mean, basically. Yeah, I mean, I've talked to you about this, Nadir. I liked Alice in Borderland better, I think.
Yeah, I liked Alice in Borderland better as well. And it's not that I didn't enjoy Squid Game, but I thought it was actually quite forgettable. Like, I think it
Yeah.
was a bit too tight and too contained in its storyline that I don't think it bled enough. Like either people completely got the metaphor in the story, or it just went completely over their head and they were just talking about the games.
And I'm not really looking forward to season two. I don't think I don't think it's gonna
Is it
be.
happening?
Yeah, yeah, they've already talked about it. So I don't know. I think it was great. It was well done. It's worth talking about. It's kind of on the outside of my top three. It might be number four. I think yeah. I think I put Move to Heaven. I might put My Name in my top three. I again, there's a little struggle with reality a little bit in there, but it's really well done, and it makes like Amy was saying. What dramas this year have you wanted to, as soon as you get home from work or as soon as you put the kids to sleep, which one do you really want to
Yes.
watch? My Name, DP, Squid Game, those are all those where I just wanted to know what happens next. The Silent Sea, I wasn't really like that. It was like, oh,
Mhm.
I guess I'll watch another episode.
Yeah.
It was, because it's holiday. I didn't have much else to do.
Yeah.
So they timed it right for me to watch it, but it wasn't one of those must see. I got to find out what happens next. It really wasn't that for me.
I would have been more excited to watch it if they put more Gong Yu on screen.
I know. Or if he smiled once in a
Yeah.
while.
And show his neck tattoo a little bit more.
The neck tattoo. Yeah, no, he was good, but it almost could have been any actor,
Yeah.
right? He
Mhm.
didn't have. You almost wasted him on that role. Beatty Null had a little bit more to do, I
Yeah,
think.
she's the
I,
central
I,
character.
I, yeah, yeah. I think one thing that was lacking in the Silent Sea for me, speaking of Gong Yu, is he had some really major decisions to make, and he never brought people in to talk about it, or you never really knew what he was struggling with in terms of the factors at play. I just thought some of that would have helped it a bit.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. They just showed us his daughter a lot, but they didn't quite explicitly say or, made more connection between him and his daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah, or it's kind of like, how much does he know? That was kind of,
yeah,
but he didn't. It wasn't really a big bomb at the end. We're like, oh, I knew all this all along. It was kind of like, oh, you did know this. All right.
yeah.
Oh well,
Oh,
but it's something to look at.
an actor that I think is gonna shine in 2022 is the spoiler alert for Silent Sea. Lee Jun, who is Ryu Tae-sek, I think his character name in Silent Sea, who is the second mole, the double agent.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
is in another ongoing show called Bulgasal, and he's amazing at it. He's only had like 3 scenes, and he's blown me away. He's completely different in the Silent Sea and completely different in Bulgasal.
Do you like that one so far?
Yeah, that just started. I haven't seen it. But are you watching it, Nadira?
Yes. I have low expectations going in. Well, not low. I had no expectations going in. So that helped. It's almost like a cheaper budget of Goblin, but instead of talking about lovey-dovey stuff, it's about revenge.
Okay.
So it's a bit dark, yeah.
Huh. And it's current, so it's like two episodes a week.
Yes, I think it's still on episode 4 right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Put another one on
Yay.
the list. I did poll some people on my Instagram, and I asked them what was their favorite drama that they watched in 2021. So people put some dramas that were not released in this year. They just put things that they had watched this year, which is fair enough. So Kelly, she was on my episode number 3 where we talked about crying in H Mart. Kelly said Nevertheless was one of her top dramas, and Hospital Playlist too.
Oh, really?
So she really liked it, yeah. Ryan said Her Private Life. So that was a couple years ago, but we haven't. Park Min Young hasn't done anything in a year or two. Is she coming out with something? I think she is coming out with something new, right?
I don't know. She seems to go in waves. She would do like 3-4 dramas in 2 years and then disappear for a year or two. But
I think I saw that. I was looking up the 2022 stuff. I think she has one coming out, which is good. We all like her. Lauren, not my daughter Lauren, and not my friend from the Marvel episodes Lauren, another Lauren, said The King, the Eternal Monarch was one that she finished in 2021 and she really liked. So, I don't know. It was a popular drama, Actually, one we haven't talked about at all is Vincenzo.
Didn't watch it.
I'm still watching.
Oh, you
I'm
haven't
still-
finished it.
No, I told you I got to episode 12 and I was like, I don't know. if
I
can do
thought you would have
anything
continued
more."
by now.
it's been a struggle. And okay, here, this is. I don't know how you feel about this. I was watching it at 1.5 speed.
Oh my God.
That's a good
It's so
idea.
ridiculous. But it's so slow. It was so slow. I was watching it at 1.5 speed, so they sound ridiculous. They sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks. But even then, it felt slow. So I don't know, man.
Can you read that fast?
I could, yeah, I could get most of it. I get most of it because it's that slow. No, if it was moving more quickly, I wouldn't be able to read that fast. But yeah,
Oh, that was difficult.
yeah. You only got 5 in, right? 5
No,
or
I
6
finished
tests in.
that.
Oh, you
I
did.
mean, in saying that, I did fast forward a lot at some point.
Yeah,
But it not a lot of it was happening, so it felt like it was directed for a proper mafioso drama, but it was written for more
Yeah.
of a family, borderline family values with the
A-
neighbors in the
a
building.
joke.
So
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
fillers.
yeah. I just don't care anymore. I don't care who gets the gold.
Yeah,
They can all have the gold.
it's
Who
forgettable.
cares? Yeah, yeah. It's insanely popular though. A lot of people like that one. Last one is I had a chat with Jessica. She has a podcast called Debak K Rambles podcast, and she said also for her move to heaven, and she said happiness.
Oh, I just
Really?
finished Happiness and I loved it.
Oh, did you?
Did you?
Well, I shouldn't say love. I mean, for some
It's
reason
weird, right?
I found that I could pause it. I like to pause it and then look at my phone for a while. But I hoped might have a chance to mention Happiness if you don't mind a second. Do you guys know what it's
Yeah.
about? It
I saw the first episode.
Oh, okay. So
So it's like a virus or a disease.
it's a virus that turns people into zombies, which kind of makes me go, zombies. But what was interesting was that this virus, you would only be a zombie for a short time. And so this apartment building gets quarantined. And I just felt like it was a good story about humanity, like
Okay.
they, how they, uh, they knew that ultimately there was going to be a cure to this thing. It didn't totally turn people into this monster. So how they approached that, and then the leads were really good. The male and the female lead. I'm sorry, I don't know their name, but
Yeah, yeah.
That's actually why I want to watch it. Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't put it at the top of a list, but
Definitely
it
entertaining.
was entertaining. Yeah.
Okay. And then Jessica goes on to say she's loving right now The Red Sleeve. Have you guys heard of that
I
one?
have heard of that one. Isn't that a sad one?
I'm only one episode
Okay.
in. It's about the crown prince and then the kind of one of his maids.
Yeah, I think it's a sad one because my friend has been sharing on her Insta story and she is not posting any spoiler, just like expressive emoticons. So I can tell that if it's sad or
A
not.
lot of
Yeah.
crying. All right. So that's recommended by Jessica. Anything you're looking forward to in 2022? I don't know if you had a chance to look that far ahead. I did a little snooping and I found one for you to
Please
do.
share.
It's not for you, it's for me. It's called Rookie,
Oh, starring Chase
and
Subin.
it's got Daniel
Oh.
Kang and Chase
Oh.
Ubin. So yeah, Daniel Kang. I guess he's K-pop,
Yeah.
right? It's his first drama. It's on Disney Plus Korea. So looking forward to that. And then there's another one for my wife. She is a huge Ji Chang-wook fan. So she will watch anything that he is in. And there's one called The Sound of Magic. Let me read this description to you. The Sound of Magic revolves around Yu Ah-yi, who's making ends meet as she supports herself and her younger sister. Abandoned by her parents because of debt, Yu balances her part-time job and studies and still manages to become a top student. But all she wants is to grow up quickly so she can find a stable job. Desperate to change, Yu reveals her dream to the magician Lee Yul, and her life begins to change.
Oh no. Oh no.
I think Ji Chang Wook is the magician. So yeah, so that one's for my wife. So that's a Vivian pick out there for something in 2022. Anything else you guys have heard about that you're kind of looking forward to?
I still want to unpack this Ji Chang-wook thing. I think this is his first supernatural drama I've heard of. He's always does like action and comedy. I don't think he's done like anything.
That's true. He's done more rom-coms lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what was that one on the Frozen? Melt Me Slow. What was that one? That was
where
terrible.
he was a lawyer.
Oh, Suspicious Partner. He was a lawyer.
Melting Me Softly?
Yeah, Melting Me Softly. Wasn't he in that
Yes, and he was also Love Struck in the City, which I regret watching to the end.
one? But yeah, before that, he was all K2 and Healer, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Love Struck in the City was terrible. I heard it was okay.
It was okay.
Kind of a sitcom.
Kind of, but you get to the end and you understand the conflict and you're like, this is a stupid conflict. This did not need to happen.
Okay.
And his character was also a bit of a coward who feels like he deserves everything, even though he didn't. Although, like he just made a mountain out of a molehill. Is that the term? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife even watched Backstreet Rookie. It's silly. It's super silly. But yeah, this sounds like it might be a little silly too. But yeah, you never know. You never know.
Okay.
I've got two I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
One is I saw that they're doing a money heist Korean version. And
Yeah.
I really loved the Spanish version. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they do there. It looks like it's got a lot of stars. And then the other one I'm interested in is the next big thing that Sonia Jin from Crash Landing is doing is called 39.
Oh.
And it's got the female lead from Hospital Playlist as well. I don't know if it's going to be,
wow.
I don't even know the plot. I just am interested to see the next
Yeah.
thing that Sonia Jin does.
Yeah. No, they're both great. Yeah, that'll be good. All right. So 2022, right? We have high hopes for many reasons. It's gotta be better, right? Right.
Oh, don't jinx it.
I just jinxed it. But yeah, so thanks for coming along and chatting with me. I think, when should I drop this? Should I drop this? I'm going to drop it tomorrow, which for me will be New Year's Eve. But should I time it with a New York midnight? Greenwich Mean Time midnight?
It's your call.
I want to get it
great
in.
host.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I want it in 2021, so I'll drop it before Greenwich time midnight.
Cool.
But yeah, thanks for coming along and talking. We wish you well out there, Jennifer. Hope you're healing up. All you other listeners out there, I hope you're all staying safe and you're all healthy. We'll do another K-drama one in 2022, right, Nadira? You got some time?
Yes. Okay, we'll do. See you then.
All right. So we'll watch Chae Soo-bin and little Ji Chang-wook. Oh man, so we're gonna have a good year. I think we're gonna our little podcast here is gonna do some stuff. I have to release my Australia episode, Nadira. I have that one coming up with two women that have a podcast down in Sydney. So that's coming up on January, first 2 weeks of January. Then we're gonna talk a little Hong Kong film after that with my friend Sabrina. And then after that, my sister's taking over, so we're talking some chef stuff with Shirley Chung from Top Chef. And then after that, this is where the nerdiness comes in. We're going to talk about Asian scientists. I have a couple PhDs coming in, and we're going to talk about Asian scientists and Asian contribution to science. And between those, we may drop in another little side dish here and there. There's some interesting things coming up. You can write to us at infatuationpodcast@gmail.com, or you can be like Amy and message me on Instagram at The Infatuation Podcast on Instagram or Facebook. Yeah, write to us. Let us know what dramas you liked for 2021 and anything you're looking forward to, and I'll read it on the air if you write it in. And so on behalf of Nadira, Amy, Jennifer, who's not feeling well, and myself, we hope you're all happy, healthy, and safe out there, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.